mess with me, I'm fine. Just don't look into my eyes. You only gave a bunch of lies, but also gave me life. Now you want me to go hide again.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Violet Intentions. I am your host, Kaylin, and today we are talking about this Aquarius full moon. This Aquarius full moon brings massive energy with it, as it is exactly in that basket formation. To fully get the grasp on what this energy is speaking to us and wanting to do for us, we have to look a little bit ahead and behind this full moon at the bigger picture of what's going down right now. So first and foremost, this basket formation, you have probably heard so much about it already. The internet is exploding over this basket, and fair enough, it is a huge fucking deal. This basket brings with it so much energy. All of the outer planets are talking. They are in sextiles and trines to each other, and that will continue until spring of 2028. So it's not over. We're just in this peak energy of it now. So it's those outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are in trines and sextiles to each other. Jupiter has opposed Pluto, creating what is known as this basket formation in the sky. This full moon, the sun comes together with Jupiter and Hygieia and Psyche at 6 degrees of Leo, and the moon comes together with Pluto at 6 degrees of Aquarius. So the basket was at 4 degrees, so we're still right there. We're still in the basket, and I'm really feeling this full moon as a culmination, as the crescendo, as the peak point of this basket. So what is the basket? What has it brought us? With 4 signs being lit up, Leo, Aries, Aquarius, and Gemini, it is most likely touching your personal birth chart somewhere. That's just a lot activated in the sky to then also be touching our own charts individually. This means that this basket is showing up uniquely for everyone individually, and I feel like that is just so on point with this future that we're stepping into. This whole year, the big theme is stepping into a new paradigm, birthing a new paradigm. It began with the Saturn, there's no beginning, but another big peak point of it was that Saturn and Neptune conjunction we had back in February, which Saturn and Neptune are now retrograde. So we'll get in that in a second. We're kind of reviewing this bigger dream that we are dreaming in. Back to this basket though. This basket, I'm sensing it as, first of all, these outer planets have been doing this dance to come into this exact alignment for hundreds of years. This exactitude between all of them has been hundreds of years in the making, because they all orbit at different times. Their orbits are different lengths. To me, it feels like magma gathering under the surface, pressure, magma gathering under the surface, this high voltage, high vibrational energy that has been building and building and building and building and building. And then with this basket, it's finally like erupting out of the surface, right? It's coming up into light. But with a volcano, there is destruction for renewal. It is the laws of creation. There is destruction for creation. So I truly feel this basket energy as like high vibrational joy, bliss, goodness, being in harmony with all of life. Just this like real divine joy and goodness. And that shit is intense. For me personally, I have days where I am walking on rainbows. I am in harmony with life itself. Life could not get any better. I am in bliss, I am in joy, I am creating, I am radiating my soul song. And then the next day I'm sleeping for 10 hours and purging who knows what out of my system and confused and have no idea what's going on. I'm really feeling this both ends of the spectrum, and I do wonder if that's necessary, right? All of this joy and goodness coming in. One, our systems need to adapt to it. I heard someone change the word ascension symptoms to adaptation symptoms, and I find that to be so on point, because this is our new frequency. This is our new speed, our new pace, our new reality. And our systems are now getting adapted to it. And part of that adaptation is a falling away, a purging of everything that is not resonant with this new frequency, that cannot withstand this new frequency. And this basket is that new frequency. And it is a high frequency of love and bliss and joy and goodness. Can our systems hold that? And how long can they hold that? What is our capacity to hold joy and goodness and bliss? And what are our blocks to that? And this is exactly what this basket is showing us. And what I'm sensing and feeling and kind of witnessing out in the world is that it's touching each of us uniquely. This basket, this crescendo of energy, this like finally breaking through the surface and touching us in the physical world, it's telling us, showing us, like, follow your own rhythm, trust your own experience. This was a big part of Mercury retrograde, which just ended about a week before this full moon. So we're still in the shadow period. We're still integrating the lessons that we learned in Mercury retrograde. And the biggest lesson that I received is follow your own rhythm. Trust your own experience. Float in what you're meant to float in. Stew in what you're meant to stew in. And there is wisdom on the other side. And this new energetic density that we are stepping into, it is one of frequency and it is one of harmonic resonance. It's this, our state of being, our frequency is the most important thing, because our state of being, our frequency that we are vibrating at, that is the world that we are creating. That is how we are interacting with the world. You know, Indra's net, okay? If you don't know Indra's net, go look it up. But essentially, it represents the web of life. And each node in this web is a jewel. And each jewel, like, reflects every other jewel on the web. It's like the entire universe exists in every single jewel, and every jewel is reflected in every jewel. So taking this example, if one jewel reflects the entirety of every other jewel and vice versa, then my state of being as a jewel in the web, my state of being is going to be reflected to me in every other jewel. That is how I am meeting the world. So if I'm really angry and I'm walking around in anger, that's what I'm radiating. That is what is going to be reflected back to me in everything that I see. Because everything exists in everything, right? Anger exists in everything I see. So if I'm radiating anger, I'm gonna see that anger back. But in the same exact situation, if I am radiating love, then I have a completely different view on what's going on in the world. And, you know, I want to kind of jump to the nodes switching signs. This happened on the 26th, so about 3 days before this full moon. The nodes have shifted into Leo and Aquarius, and this Leo-Aquarius axis is essentially about radiating my uniqueness, like my creative expression out into the world, my soul's creative expression out into the world, embodying joy and grace just because it feels good. That's Leo. And then Aquarius is from this place of us embodying our creative expression out into the world and embodying and experiencing joy and grace. How can we create a society, like how can we create a better world for the collective? But there is this huge theme of a collective from this place of everyone radiating their own unique soul song. It's this theme of like everyone is uniquely, insanely special and also not special at all. And everyone's soul path is uniquely, insanely special and not special at all. We have the South Node transiting Leo and the North Node transiting Aquarius. So this means that our past, what's getting cleaned up with the South Node is going to be those Leo themes. And our destiny, what we are moving towards, is these Aquarian themes. So let's start with Aquarius here. These Aquarian themes, Aquarius is the water bearer. And Aquarius's gift is it has this unique glimpse into the web of life. And from this glimpse into the web of life, it wants to create a better world, a better society for everyone. The water bearer, Aquarius sees into this vision. Aquarius is an air sign, a fixed air sign. And here's how I kind of think about the air signs. So Gemini, I think of as literal air, like wind, right? Gemini wants to understand, like it takes one thing and it wants to view it from every angle, and it's conversations, it's quick moving energy. I think of it as like actual air. Libra is about the relationship between people. So when I think about Libra's quality of air, I think about the relational space between a group of people. Libra is really, really good at sensing the atmosphere in an environment, in a group of people, and knowing what is needed for harmony, for peace, for balance and joy between that group of people. So Libra's air is more of this relational field, this relational atmosphere. And then when I think of Aquarius's air, this fixed air, I think of it as ether. Like literal, like ether, the web of life. Aquarius has this way of tapping into something beyond in the way that most other signs can't. And then being the water bearer, it wants to bring that through. It sees these future visions, this higher possibility for the collective, what is potentially in the highest good for the infinite all of everything, and wants to bring it through in service of the good of the collective. And the healthy Aquarius understands that my evolution is in service to the collective. And this is what we're moving towards. And yes, technology is a part of Aquarius, but it's like, how can we use technology in service of the highest good of the infinite all of everything and the highest good of the collective? Aquarius knows the importance of community, of the interconnectedness of all, of the web of life. With the North Node being in Aquarius, this is what we're moving towards. We're moving towards, with Pluto being there, we're moving towards this power to the people, this redistribution of power from the few into the web of life. We're stepping back into community. I know I'm experiencing it in my little town, everyone talking about the importance of community and how we need these spaces in the community. And human beings are relational creatures. We're not meant to do it alone. We are literally biologically wired for connection with other creatures. And Aquarius, with this North Node transiting it, I feel like we are going to understand to a deeper level how important community is, how important these relational spaces is, and to be in service of the collective. And this is like the essence of the web of life, that we are all intimately connected. So if one person in the collective is hurting, it affects all of us. We share this collective unconscious. So even if you are not consciously experiencing the hurt of another being, it lives there in the unconscious, and it is affecting all of us. And I really hope from the center of my being that this North Node in Aquarius brings us collectively back to this remembering that we are a part of nature. We are a part of the web of life. We do not exist outside of nature. We do not exist at the top of the web of life. This isn't a period. This isn't a pyramid, babe. It's a web. It's a spider web. And I, to my core, I hope that it brings a greater remembrance in the collective that we are a part of nature. We are a part of the web of life, and hopefully we can begin to act that way. I mean, I think we already are, but hopefully it can show up to a greater degree in the collective. Okay, so that's Aquarius, kind of moving towards this web of life mentality and being in service to the web of life. And my evolutionary journey is in service to the collective. So the South Node being in Leo, these sister signs, they are the same energy expressed in different dichotomies, different polarities. So the Leo energy we talked a little bit about. Leo is my radiant heart center. Leo is the sign of the sun. It's fixed fire. The sun never stops shining. Leo, it rules the 5th house, which is all about creative expression and childlike joy. It is experiencing joy and grace for the sake of experiencing joy and grace and how good it feels. It is this I shine, you shine, we all shine. This how good it feels to just radiate love. And it comes from this place of deep authenticity in a healthy Leo. It comes from this place of deep authenticity of I am just going to sing my soul song. I am just going to shine my radiant heart center because it just feels that good. And in this true authentic radiance of my deep, sacred, authentic heart, it is contagious. It contagiously encourages other people to shine and radiate their authentic soul song because it just feels that good. And then when we are all shining and radiating our unique soul songs, we get this orchestra of the web of life, which is Aquarius. But the South Node is transiting Leo, meaning the South Node is like where we've come from, what we're already good at, our past. The South Node, often there is a lot of clearing of stuck patterns, of divots, of like grooves that we've got ourselves in, maybe like unhealthy expressions of whatever the South Node is transiting. And then underneath that clearing, there are gifts held in the South Node. Now, what's really interesting is we have the South Node transiting Leo at the same time that we have Jupiter transiting Leo. Jupiter transiting Leo wants to expand this Jupiter energy. Jupiter in Leo wants you to feel more grace. It wants you to feel more joy. It wants you to receive joy simply because it is your birthright. Simply because it is your birthright to feel and experience joy. And Jupiter wants to expand your capacity to feel that joy. Jupiter wants to expand your capacity to receive miracles and goodness and bliss simply because you can. Simply because it is the natural state of the universe, of life. And in that expansion, Jupiter is expanding our heart to receive and radiate this joy and goodness and our creative expression, which creativity is the natural order of life. Creativity is the natural expression of life. That is what creativity is. It's simply expression. We live in this world where we consume, and are we expressing to match the consuming, right? Every input needs an output, and creative expression is an output. I fear, myself included, we live in a world where we are consuming more than we are outputting. I digress on that topic. So Jupiter transiting Leo wants to expand this radiant heart energy with so much grace. Jupiter is the big benefic in the sky. He just brings grace with everything. So Jupiter just got out of Cancer. He spent about a year in Cancer, and Jupiter in Cancer was getting in touch with our authentic insides, our deep, tender heart, our authentic insides. And as he moves into Leo, coming from that like watery, heart-centered place, now is taking us on a journey to expand our authenticity through joy and grace and goodness. But as Jupiter takes us on this journey to expand our capacity to radiate and to receive the joy and goodness, it's going to bring up the blocks to joy. It's going to show us where we have trouble receiving these joy and goodness and miracles. And it's also going to show us the shadow side of Leo, which is where we perform authenticity and joy because it got us the validation of others, right? So if Leo's essence is, I am going to radiate joy and love and my creative expression simply because it feels so good to do so, that can very easily get tied up with applause, with validation, because validation feels really good too. It feels really good when someone else is validating your experience, your expression, your creative anything. So this Jupiter in Leo, as it expands us, is also going to illuminate and expand those blocks. And then we've got the South Node transiting Leo as well, doing more cleanup. There's a whole lot of emphasis on this Leo energy. I think at one point during this Leo season, we've got like 9 planets in Leo. So that same Aries pileup that we felt back in April with like all of that intense fire Aries energy, we're getting a similar energy here in this Leo season, except it's going to be Leo themed. And with so much emphasis in Leo, while the South Node and Jupiter are in Leo, it's really wanting to clean up any outdated patterning, any childhood patterning, any social conditioning, any wounding around radiating your authenticity and feeling and receiving joy, so that as a collective, we can each begin to shine uniquely and move towards these Aquarian themes of existing in this harmonious web of life in service to the collective. My evolutionary journey is in service to the collective. So where does that leave us on this full moon? This full moon kicks off eclipse season, which we will get into in a moment. But this is the last full moon before we have an eclipse, which will be the solar eclipse in 2 weeks. Under this full moon, we have the Sun, Jupiter, Hygieia, and Psyche together in Leo, 2 degrees off of this basket. And then we have the moon together with Pluto in Aquarius, 2 degrees off of this basket. What does this mean? So the Sun is our conscious part of self. It is what we are most aware of. When something is with the Sun, we can see it most clearly. On a higher octave, the Sun is our soul self. It is the central organizing pillar of the psyche. Kazemi with the Sun, the word Kazemi means in the heart of. Right? So when there is a Kazemi, which is what Jupiter and the Sun are doing, because they are exactly together at 6 degrees, Jupiter is in the heart of the Sun. It is in the heart of our conscious awareness. So Jupiter, expansion, grace, big benefic, and they're all in the sign of Leo, which is the Sun's natal sign of this radiant creative expression, this courageous heart energy, this shining for the sake of shining, feeling childlike joy because it just feels so good. So Sun and Jupiter already together is like big benefic energy, big grace, big joy. It's in your face. You can't not see it. It's right here. Tune in, tap in. Here it is. Now we bring Hygieia into the mix. Hygieia is like a big ball of goodness. Hygieia is the Kundalini goddess of miraculous healing and awakening. And Hygieia's gift is to turn toxins, poisons into life-giving elixir. And she does this through life force itself. The greatest alchemizer is love. Love is the greatest alchemizer. And for the sake of this conversation, what is another name for love? Life force. And that is Hygieia. Hygieia is this like effervescent aliveness, this like like high vibrational love energy, and she comes in as we move her through our systems, and these toxins, these blocks, these poisons, these like emotions that are stuck in us, the patterning that's stuck in our body, like just all of the gunk that is preventing us from living every day, every moment in this state of bliss and joy and goodness. She comes in, and through the power of love, through life force energy, she just moves through those blocks, and they just like dissolve. Just like dissolve into goodness. It's like, oh, that block that you've had forever, that you thought that you were never gonna get over, okay, and it's gone. And it's now turned into life force for you to radiate. So her being with Jupiter expands this goodness, expands this capacity for miraculous healing and awakening. And then being with the sun, it's in your conscious, it's in your conscious mind, it's in your face. That is just like so much goodness, like so much goodness that is right there, that is just in our face. And Psyche is like the evolution of our psyche. All of that together is just really good goodness, like in the basket itself too. And remember, when we talked about this basket, we said what this basket was bringing in was this new like high vibrational frequency, new earth, new human, these new codes, this new frequency that we are now attuning to. It's here. And our job is to attune to it and to allow blocks to be cleared. So the sun, Jupiter, Hygieia, Psyche is amplifying that, making it in our face, making it really easy to tap into this new frequency. And I want to say with Hygieia, it's healing and awakening. So that awakening piece is like, how do we get the energy flowing through our body? How do we tap in? How do we bring her into our body? How do we like bring in that goodness and let the energy move and clear? What are our tools, our practices, our resources for that? It's an awakening and healing. So that's all the goodness going on in Leo. Now a full moon, the moon is always 180 degrees from the sun. So the moon is with Pluto. These full moons are a time of illumination, of completion. A new seed was planted at the new moon, and it's grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. Now we've reached this peak point, and we are now like descending again. The moon is our subconscious. It is our emotional nature. Pluto is the depths. Pluto is Lord of the underworld. Pluto we can often see as the unconscious, as the ruler of the unconscious. So I like to work with them in this way of, you have the conscious mind. This is like what we are aware of. This is everything in our sphere of awareness. Then we have the subconscious, which is the moon, which is like what's on the periphery of our awareness. It's not something that we can know with logic, but maybe through signs, through intuitions, through our emotions, because emotions are information. Through these kind of other ways of knowing, we can kind of get access to the subconscious. It's not right there in our direct sphere of awareness, but it's on the periphery, and we can kind of tap into it one way or another. Pluto is like the outer rim of the circle, or like deep below the surface, and Pluto is the unconscious. Pluto is what is just outside of our awareness. Now, often, and this is simply because of the moment in time that we live in. I could like do a whole video on this with like timing cycles and history and all that, but I digress for now. But this moment in time that we live in is simply, we exist in a moment where there is stuff in the unconscious for us to work out. Like that is just the moment of time where we're just exiting Kali Yuga, right? Like we exist when there is stuff in the unconscious that needs to be cleared out. So the unconscious is not inherently bad. It is just our wiring. It is our programming. The unconscious is like the code that allows the computer to run. You use your computer all day long. That's your conscious mind. You don't see the code that runs your computer, but without the code, the computer wouldn't run. Without the unconscious, like you would have to think to blink. You would have to be conscious of every one of the blinks that you make, of every breath that you take. So the unconscious serves a purpose. Now imagine that computer code has some like weird coding in it that only lets you access certain websites. Okay? That weird coding is like the societal conditioning that we've been placed in, is like the familial conditioning. And then maybe you have a couple viruses in your computer coding, and that is like the emotional blocks that are stored in the unconscious, right? So there's these things in the unconscious that is just I like to call it like discoherent energy. So this is another fun thing about Pluto. Pluto, being lord of the underworld, he takes us on this journey into sovereignty, into being sovereign of our own depths. That means mastering the underworld, becoming sovereign, becoming lord, lordess, goddess of your own underworld. Pluto is often correlated with power for two reasons. One, right, like sovereign, ruling, having power over your depths, but also when we begin to work unconsciously, it's like these shadow aspects that live in the unconscious, they are unconsciously siphoning life force, and that's how they have power to like control and direct our lives. So when we become sovereign over our unconscious, we are taking that life force back. Now we have more life force to direct in the way that we choose. Sovereignty. I want to offer this new definition of power because it's totally rocking my world. With all of this Aquarius North Node and Pluto in Aquarius, we're seeing these themes of power to the people. Power is coming out of the hands of the few, which it has historically been in, and is now being distributed to the people. So I think like we often think of power as like money or the ability to influence or having resources, or anyways, I want to shift this idea of power. What if we think of power as coherent energy? What if we think of power as coherent energy? I'll use an example here. It took me a really insanely long time to stop smoking. This was the shadow aspect that I really struggled with. And I spent a lot of time like digging into this and working on this. And what I uncovered is that I hold a scarcity nervous system groove. There is a groove in my nervous system that equates to scarcity. And it's just an imprint that I got as a child, and I've carried it this whole time. And what smoking would do is I would smoke and it would give me that like buzziness kind of feeling, and that would activate that nervous system groove of scarcity. It was like that was the only thing that my nervous system knew, so then it got addicted to it because it thought that was safe, because that's all that it knew. So I would go through these phases of like, I know I shouldn't smoke right now. This is actually harmful to my future goals and what I'm trying to build. Like, it's not just neutral, it's actually harming me. It's actually setting me back. I know I shouldn't do this, and I'm still gonna do it. And it was like this huge battle because I knew it wasn't a willpower thing. Anyways, this is where Pluto comes in. That was discoherent energy. My energy was leaking to this shadow aspect that wanted to keep me in scarcity because it's all that it knew. It thought that it was safe. So my life force is now being leaked to that shadow energy, which is then directing and controlling my life, having me smoke even when I know it is not true, even when I know it is harmful. And willpower is no match for the unconscious. So as I finally like uncovered all of that and got down to the root of it, I was able to stop smoking. Now I've taken that life force that shadow aspect had, I've pulled it back into my center, and I have more life force to direct to what I'm consciously choosing. So the things that I'm building, the goals that I'm trying to attain, I now have more life force to direct to that. Less of my life force is leaking. My energy is now a couple degrees more coherent. Now I have a couple degrees more power because I am able to direct my life force of my choosing. I am now sovereign over that energy once again, right? So what if power actually means coherent energy? Just ponder on that. Let me know what you think in the thoughts below. That one like blew my mind. Okay. Oh, back to this full moon. So as we've got all of this like goodness in Leo, my sense is that this moon and Pluto together is going to be drudging up what is blocking you from that goodness. It is probably going to be deeply unconscious. The moon, when the moon and Pluto are together, I like to think of it as like a little portal has now, a little channel has now opened up, especially during a full moon, because you've got the sun and the moon in 180 degrees and then the moon with Pluto just like opening that channel, and it's like, wow, you now have access to the depths of your unconscious. The depths of your unconscious are going to be illuminated. What is blocking you from living in pure joy, pure bliss? And with this being an Aquarius, what societal structures, what societal familial ancestral conditioning is stopping you from shining your unique, authentic self? We've often been put in these boxes of I need to be like this, I need to look like this, I need to act this way, I need to have this job, I need to live in this manner, and then I will be accepted by society. And this full moon is saying, what is true to you? Break out of the fucking boxes, break free of all of that. What is true to you? What is your soul calling you to do? How is your soul calling you to live? What is your authentic nature? But here's the thing, that Pluto piece, right, can be a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to go there. But we've got Jupiter and Hygieia, like blessings and gifts. Allow yourself to see the depths that Pluto and the moon are bringing up for you, and then allow Hygieia to just transmute them. It's goodness, but we have to be available enough to receive it. We have to be willing to look at the challenging things. And again, that's how we coalesce more of our power. And I've been seeing astrologers, mostly Pam Gregory, talk about this Pluto-Jupiter opposition of anytime Pluto and Jupiter are in opposition, there's themes around power and wealth and money, etc. And she talks about it's a time of like taking your own power. And this is how you do it. We are in this massive period of time where power dynamics are shifting. We see the collapse in the outer world. If you are on this channel, then I imagine you are feeling into the goodness that this basket and this new vibration, this new frequency is bringing, right? We are in this like massive collapse. And with this collapse, there's now all this excess energy. Grab your power. Take back your power with humility, with respect, in service to the highest good of the infinite all of everything, and remembering that power really means coherent energy. So take back your power by becoming sovereign over your energy, by bringing your energy in coherence. And back to this Leo Aquarius theme, when we are in coherence, when we are radiating our authentic heart, we are in service to the highest good of the infinite all of everything. My highest good is the highest good for the infinite all of everything. Your highest good is my highest good, is the highest good for the infinite all of everything. This full moon just brings like big, big, big energy, and it is this peak point, it is this culmination point. But again, this basket has been going on for about a week and it's going to continue to unfold. So what themes have been alive for you? What has been your journey? What has been your experience? And take everything that's shared in this video and apply it to your experience, because this full moon is going to be more illumination on your personal journey, where you're at, where you're going, what you need to let go of. And I want to say this, it's a softening into, the frequency is here. The goodness, the joy, the bliss, the grace, it is here. And can we soften into it? Can we receive it? Can we open to it? Can we soften into the web of life? Now, a couple other things to talk about under this full moon. Venus is square Mars. I won't speak too much about this. You can find more in the preview that I'm going to be doing for August, because August has some wild fucking energy, and I just want to give us something to like get our footwork before it hits. So I'll talk more about that in the August video. Feel free to check that out. But quickly here, Venus, feminine, Mars, masculine. The masculine and the feminine have been on this dance all year. They are each on their own individual journey of evolution, and we're gonna like really bring this into self. We see it out in the world, great. We're not gonna talk about that here. We are going to talk about this in self, the feminine part of self. What is feminine energy in self? It is our intuition. It is our emotions. It is the expression of our emotions, of life force. It is our relationship to all of life, to life itself, the way that we relate to others. It is beauty, it is values. The feminine has been on a journey of reclamation for literally longer than we can talk about. There have been parts of feminine essence that have been denied. Intuition, right? Like logic over intuition. Intuition has been repressed in favor of logic. The expression of life, of emotions, right? Like, don't cry. Be productive. Don't cry. The repression of emotion. So the feminine has been on this journey of reclaiming these parts of self, each individually. We have each individually inside our own psyches been going on this journey. The feminine's journey is one of reclamation. The masculine's journey, sweet masculine, we love him, has been getting his ego head cut off. The masculine energy is direction, it is focus, it is drive, it is like the masculine has this deep desire, this deep willpower, and then will exert his energy in the world to go after what he wants, where the feminine is more this receptive nature. We see, let's just keep this in self, and let's use this example of intuition versus logic, right? This logic can be seen as this masculine part of self. And for example, if your logic has been overruling your intuition, the masculine journey is getting the ego head cut off, getting the logic cut off, as the feminine is reclaiming the intuitive nature. And the goal is sacred union. The goal is equality, is sacred union, to have them making love and in balance and dancing together. Having that in self unlocks this third energy, this union energy, this divine child, this creation energy. That is the goal here. So Mars square Venus, a couple days before, a couple days after on this full moon is, you know, they've been going on their individual journeys all year, and now they're coming into this conversation of where are we at? Where are we at with this? And a square is a challenging aspect. It's a 90 degree, it's an unstable angle. So it needs to go one way or the other. Something needs to give. It's a point of tension and integration. So inside of self, your masculine and feminine are talking to each other, and there might be a point of tension, and something needs to give for the purpose of union. Now this energy bleeds into the first week of August, and we've got the dark goddesses at play. Again, if you want to go deeper into that, check out the August video. It'll be up in a couple days after this video. Get this, Venus and Mars are in a square to each other. They're in this point of tension, trying to figure their shit out, coming into union. The middle point, the halfway point between them, Jupiter, Sun, Hygieia, Psyche. Too good, too good. It's like Hygieia and the Sun and Jupiter are sitting down, Mars and Venus, and saying, looky here, y'all, we're gonna figure your shit out with miracles, with grace, with miraculous healing and awakening. It is pure goodness. And magic. Like the alignments of all of it is just magic. Also under this full moon, we have Eris, newly stationed retrograde. Eris is discord for truth. Eris is not afraid to create chaos to get you to truth. She has just newly gone retrograde, which means she's louder, which means there might be more chaos and discord that is pointing you in the direction of truth. She is together with Vesta. Vesta is the priestess of the inner sacred flame. Vesta's gift is directing the inner sacred flame, is honing the awareness on the inner sacred flame, and then directing it. And in that focus and direction, it automatically pushes away everything that is not aligned with that inner sacred flame, right? So our inner sacred flame, our life force, together with Eris, discord for truth. I am going to make chaos. I am going to make discord to point you to the truth of your inner sacred flame. They are in a trine to Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is the conglomerate of the dark goddesses, the conglomerate of the aspects of the feminine that have been demonized, denied, repressed. Black Moon Lilith is saying, oh, chaos and discord to get you into truth with your inner sacred flame, and we're gonna break you out of the box, and we're going to I'm trying to feel what she wants to say here. It's this breaking out of the box. It's breaking out of societal norms. It's breaking out of these structures, these boxes that we have been put in. I will not deny my inner sacred flame any longer, and I will blow up any fucking box that tries to limit my inner sacred flame, that is untrue to my inner sacred flame. Again, this bleeds over into August, so more on that in the next video. The last thing that we'll talk about here is Saturn has newly stationed retrograde on, I believe, the 26th, so the same day that the nodes shifted signs, meaning Saturn is loud right now. I find this very interesting because we had that Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries back in February. Now Saturn and Neptune are both newly retrograde. I think Neptune went retrograde like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so not that long ago. So that conjunction was that first like spark, that first push of birth into this new dream that we are dreaming in. This new vision, this new reality, this new frequency. Now we get the basket, and the basket is like, and the frequency is here. It is now here, showing up in the physical world. It's not just a dream anymore. It's not just this vision in these higher realms. We're starting to see it. It's tangibly here now. Now it's a process of attuning. Okay, then we get Neptune and Saturn going retrograde very shortly after this basket. It's a review, revisit, revise on this dream. Now that we're starting to get a taste of it, where are we a little bit off track? What kind of needs to shift here? Neptune being retrograde is like a reviewing, a reimagining of the dream itself, where Saturn is this reviewing and revising of the structure needed to hold the dream, to bring it into reality. There's a quote, something along the lines of, creation without structure is chaos. Saturn is that structure that allows things to have form. Saturn is the hard work, the lessons that allow us to sustain something, to hold something, to make it manifest, and to sustain it. Saturn we often think of as masculine, right? Kronos. But I've been doing some research into Saturn and uncovering Saturn as the bone mother, the one who knows deep sacred time, the one who knows that we have to prepare for winter, bring the animals in, collect the firewood, make sure we have enough food to ride out these harsh winters, and knows that spring will always come again. It knows the cyclical nature of things, and that is Saturn. And I feel like Saturn going retrograde is bringing us back into these cyclical natures. Everything is not just always linear and always forward motion, and in this retrograde period, use it as a time to review what's working, what's not, what structure needs to change, what support do I need to be able to hold this new vision, to bring it in, to run at this new pace. And it's really beautiful because now we've had a taste of it. We've had like almost 6 months of what this is, and with this basket, it's getting really tangible. Like it's no longer here, it's here. So with this newfound information, having walked the path for 6 months, where do you need to pivot? And just allow yourself the freedom to be flexible, to pivot. That's just life. All right, let's see, anything else? The last thing that I want to mention is check what houses this is in your sign, because I'm very curious if this is like a final culmination of something, because the houses that this is showing up for me in my natal chart is like the biggest, deepest thing that I have been working on for years. It is like the one, the pinnacle, the root. And for this full moon and this basket to be happening there, I'm kind of like, oh, so is this gonna be the culmination of that? Like, are we finally moving on? Is this it? So just pay attention to the houses that this is showing up for you and see where that lands in your life, what themes are emerging. One last thing is this full moon is leading us into eclipse season. Again, I will go into that deeper in the August video, but just know this is like a culmination, yes, into the wormhole that is eclipse season. Eclipse seasons are a wormhole. They are a point in time where there is like this cosmic alignment that allows us to have massive quantum leaps. So we've had this build up and build up and build up and build up. Then we've had this basket in July, which is this culmination and this peak point. And it was like all of this energy has been flooding into us, preparing us for this quantum leap that comes in August with the eclipse seasons. But let me tell you, we're walking a whole lot of fucking shadow territory. And the way that I see it is like we've just got juiced up with all this fucking energy, and as we take this quantum leap, as we go through the wormhole, it's like we're swimming through the wormhole and it's just disintegrating everything that it does not align with like that new frequency, that new place that we're quantum leaping to. So it's like always a fucking dichotomy. It's always both, and we've got this massive portal of huge capacity to quantum leap, and we're walking the shadow territory simultaneously. So things are not slowing down. I'm sorry to say, they're not getting any less intense. Okay, that's all I have. This video is getting long. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know how this is showing up for you. Let me know what energies are showing up for you down in the comments below, and check out my August video if it sings to you. It'll be up in a couple days. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. It really helps me out and it means so much to me. All right, love you guys. Enjoy this big energy.
Ready when you touched me, I thought I see the stars. Remember when you